Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Got a brand new message for you. It's coming to you live from station WEBM. Wonderful Eddie B. Marcus, operating smack down from the top of the sky, the spiritual realm, down to wherever you are. Thank you. The message that I want to bring to you today is heaven is a reward. Heaven is a reward. It is only for the deserving. It is only for the deserving. Indication is that it was operative with the angels. They call that dwelling place heaven. Something happened. It was happening in the Garden of Eden. They call that place heaven. But something happened strangely. Then on earth here, there was heaven on earth. And then something happened. What is this stuff that happened? Wherever living human beings exist, there is an alternative truth. And its sole purpose is to lie and deceive. That's its sole purpose, to lie and deceive. Now, evil loves evil. And evil is evil's reward. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, a master that is so fantastic, so wonderful, so in charge, that he created a whole earth. A whole earth. No human being's hand had anything to do with it. An earth that has all of the resources on it, in it, or above it, seen or unseen, that the human mind and imagination could ever conceive that it might ever want to engage itself in. Those resources have been made available. And each of us as human beings, before we are tapped to come into this universe, we were given a little tap of something special, something that gave us purpose for being here on this earth, something that we desire to do with all passion, a participation in the creative process of those things that were made so common amongst us for survival by that Creator, making it necessary that each of us play a part in creating all of that, making all of us owners of all the things that man put his hand to do. We as human beings are owners of it. We take from it as we want, as we need or desire. That is a gift of God. That is the measure of faith in doing unto others as you'd have others to do unto you. That is the faith and measure and expression of love and honor for God. Now, this is what I want. I want to see this in America, and I want to see it spread abroad. And I'm asking the people of the state of Minnesota to write me in as the next senator from the state of Minnesota in that election in November, in that general election in November. Write my name in. And I want all of you across the nation to know that I'm not stopping there. I want to be the next president in 2020. For the same purpose, right now that I'm sharing with you, we want to look at it like this. God blessed us with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has taken us to places we didn't think we would ever go, only to find out that we were there all the time anyway. That's why he has been so successful in things that the people know is evil, the things that people know is deceitful, and yet they're going along with it. That's to say how far we will go. And the bad thing about it is not for the benefit of the people. It is for the benefit of Trump. And yet, those who say they love God are giving Trump all kinds of support. And the whole premise for the platforms and the establishment of the Republican Party as having the House, having the Senate, and having the presidency, all of these things under the Republican Party. And they are going way back in all of the ugly things. Way back. And all of this stuff is founded on the premise of lying and cheating and stealing and crime and violence and rich and poor and terrorism and sanctions and threat of war and killing. All of these, what we call daily way of life, is founded on all of this ugliness. All of this ugliness exists because we are doing things the way that we do things. We do things according to the Republicans or Democrats, or according to whoever's in the seat of power, and whether they are racist or whether they are bigots or whether they just out of their minds. All of this plays a major role in where we go in a nation that trusts people to take us someplace rather than trusting God. You say, why should you trust God? Because God made this earth. You know darn well God made it. You might not want to give God credit, but you know no human being had anything to do with it. And if that kind of power exists, I'm sure that kind of power can take care of a few imbeciles like us. And what I'm only saying to each and every last one of us, we say we want peace and prosperity and happiness in our lives, and there is a way to get that. And if we don't do the things the way to get that, then we're going to get its opposite, what we have today. So, what am I saying? I'm saying, when you see the rich and the poor, when you see crime and violence, when you see some of the ugly things that's going on in government, it is time for a change. And ladies and gentlemen, listen to me well. The Republican Party have shown you. Now, they are not halfway as low as they plan to go if they keep you asleep. But now, you cannot for one moment think that the Democratic Party is the answer. It is no more the answer than the Republican Party is. Oh, of course. They have a little bit more programs that reach out to a little bit more of the poor than the Republicans and the conservatives do, but that's all. And it leaves just as many people hurting with pain and suffering from the lack of life, from the ignorance of the platforms and the programs in which we seek, as we tend to give allegiance to man instead of God. So I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, many of you, some of you are as old as I am, and you know the game. Some younger people, not as old as us, but they smart enough and they know the game. And some younger people just don't want to get time for the game, and even those younger than that, not even worried about it. So if there's going to be anything that's going to come out of this in a positive way, it's going to take those who are as old as I am and those who are next to me or next to us. We're going to have to take the lead. Why? Because we know what they don't know. And for those who are led by the Spirit of God, I'm not talking about those of you who go to church. I'm not talking about those of you who are in a mega congregation and you love in your church. I'm not knocking any of that. But I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking about those who have committed their lives to God, to walk the way of God and not the way of the world, knowing all the time what they are up against, and they choose joyously to walk against the ways of the world to glorify the ways of God, the ways of love. And for those of you who call yourselves Christians, Jesus showed you exactly what to do. Yes, all things in the world are magnificent. God gave it. God provided it. But it operates under a fake system, an unholy system, an ungodly system built upon lies and all kind of things that just isn't of love. And so when you wake up, you see that, and you can't be a part of that, especially when you're telling people what it is. You're telling them exactly what it is. Now, what would you look like reaching in, getting some, at the same time talking about it? Where you say you got to live, then if you got to live, let that be your motivation to give it all you got. Because if it doesn't work, you don't live. And so what's going to stop you from giving it all you got? What? That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about for those of you who say you're led by the Spirit of God. Standing up for God. And when you stand up for God, I mean, just like that question arose in heaven where the angels were, a challenge. Do you want to keep living in heaven, or do you want to try this? This is so much better, that Spirit said. And they say a third of the heavenly hosts went with that Spirit. But they had to get the heck out of heaven, because heaven wasn't put nowhere. Came on down to the heaven in the Garden of Eden. Everything was going fine. That Spirit popped up. Do you want to stay this way? Or you can be better if you go the way I'm trying to show you. I can show you something you deserve better than all this. And that Spirit said, doggone it. All right, and went that way. Now down here on earth telling us every day the same thing. And every day we're all packing our bags, going that same way, going that same way. But for some strange reason, there's still enough love in those of us who have not completely sold out just yet to keep us in from just falling straight down the rabbit hole. It's just keeping us from falling straight down the rabbit hole. But there are those who must be among us who know the truth, who are not just that kind of keep from going through the rabbit hole, but trying to change things. And if it's to be successful, it will only be because you the people wake up. You the people wake up, you can change things, create heaven on earth. If you refuse to wake up for whatever your reasons might be, then there is no need, there's no way that the ones that are standing up should be left in this hell that you guys perpetuate, you guys seemingly love, though you say you hate, but you won't do anything to eradicate it. So the Lord God allows these people to transfer right on out of this life. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me. You've been lied to. Your biggest friend in life is death. Let me tell you something. Your biggest friend in life is death. You don't have to take no crap off of anyone. You don't have to take any crap off of anyone. Why? Because you are a free person. And so if they want to put some crap over you, they got to kill you. Because you ain't going for it. Now what does that mean? That means that you're going to stand up for what you know to be true. And you're not necessarily, you always have the right, if somebody decides they want to hurt you, you have the right to defend yourself. You always got that right. But there are those who know the defense doesn't even matter. They are welcoming an opportunity to get the hell out of here. And so if somebody try to kill them, they allow it. They're thankful that somebody killed them. And for those of you who wake up, who aren't associated with anything, but just look around you and can't stand all this filth, can't stand all this sickness, you are a blessed individual. And if you want to get the heck out of here, they call it committing suicide. If you want to get the heck out of here, that's your business. Why do you think they talk against suicide? You think it's because they think it's evil and God's going to punish you? No. It takes away their power of control and manipulation. They want to have the power to kill you. They want to be the only one that can kill you. And so when they talk, and nobody wants to really die. And so when they talk about killing you, or you stand in line, you stay in line. But if they didn't have that control, where you weren't afraid of death, you welcomed death any moment to get out of their face and to stay in control of your own life. And that would be so catchy. It would be like a tsunami. It would be catchy. And people would start looking at life as being something like, hey, it's not about all of that. I mean, what you gonna do? get up and eat. Hopefully they eat an egg in the morning time. Maybe a nice piece of steak in at lunchtime. Maybe a piece of fruit in the night. Get up the next day and go do something else for somebody else. When you get a little benefit out of it, is that all? Is that all? And if you know something, I would suggest, if you know something, then explain it, express it to us, so we'll know it as well. But keep in mind, anytime somebody try to bogart you, and you can always say to hell with it and get out of here. And God ain't punishing you. You chose to get, you saw the bull and you chose to get out. Now, if you don't know how to help us, then feel free to get out. I ain't got nothing wrong with it. I don't have no problem with it. So, to do evil in heaven, you are evicted. To do good in hell, you are evicted. So, when you're doing the right stuff, the wrong stuff is waiting to happen to you. But knowing the truth sets you free. And though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you fear no evil. For thou art with you. You know that. And so it's a party. It's just a party. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen.